everyone. Thank you for being here. And today we're going to talk about why you need a destination in order to get where you want to, and the 3 ways to think about it in order for you to actually get there. When we get into our car and want to go to the grocery store, we need a few things with us. We have to know why we're going to the grocery store, where the grocery store is, and who we're going to rely on if we don't know the answers to those few things. If you're on a journey of cooking, or if you are trying to find a new location, you're probably going to rely on people who have created certain recipes and on the GPS on your phone to get you to that destination. And you have to put trust in those things to do it. You have to trust that your GPS isn't actually going to take you to Target instead of Whole Foods, and you have to trust that this is actually going to taste good because all the 200 comments under this video said that it would. So we have to put trust in others, but a majority of the trust has to go into ourselves, and that is the point that I got to as well. And when it comes to getting groceries, that really is the thing that happens. I have to put a plan together, or at least loosely understand what I'm going to get at Whole Foods or wherever I'm going, in order to know why I'm going there and what to buy. Otherwise, I'll just leave with a bunch of snacks and drinks that I don't need and realize that I'm just gonna have to spend even more food to go out that week because I don't have enough food at home and I don't want to go to the grocery store again. And that is where I kept going back to. How many other locations in my life am I doing this exact same behavior? Am I just going to this job that I am spending all of this time and this emotion on? And I was working 12 hours a day and hated every second of it. And then I came home and I didn't have the energy to go and get food at the grocery store and cook it. And now that I'm on the other side of it and no longer at that job, there is this peace in me where I trust that I'm going to go and buy the food that I want at the grocery store, and I'm going to find the time to make it. And it's not going to cost $1 million and 300 hours. It's going to take 15-20 minutes at most, and it's going to take me 30 minutes driving there and buying all the food and coming back, because I don't have to spend 2 hours at Trader Joe's having Trader Joe's tell me what to buy. I can go in there, buy the few things that I like, and then when I'm comfortable with those, I can go and explore more things. And that might not be how you want to do it, but at the end of the day, when it comes to the most simple things that we do, we have to know how we're getting there, why we're doing it, and what it means to us. I want to cook at home so that I'm not spending a bunch of money and time thinking about where am I going to go eat? How long is it going to take to get there? Is this food even good for me? How bad do I feel after it? And not everything I make is great, but at least I'm trying, and that is the point. I need to put in the effort to try, and it really was a big focus over the past 5 months for me to take a step back and realize I want to go for a walk. I want to eat better. I want to spend time writing and creating in whatever capacity that is, and that I have to stop judging myself. And when you start to create new habits, that is also the things that you're going to have to start to let go, is this idea that we are constantly being told that everything around us matters more than the thing that we're doing, and that everybody else has an opinion that is so much more important. And yet we have to realize that it is no one else's decisions or choices that are affecting our lives other than our own. It is our own consequences that we have to deal with. So if we get into the car and we have no idea where we're going, which is something that I do like to do, I just get into the car and just drive, and I'll take whatever turn I feel in the moment, and then eventually 10, 15, 30 minutes in, if I'm not used to the area, I will have to put in the GPS to get back home because I took too many turns and I don't know where I am, and now I need to rely on my phone to get me there. And it can only do that if it's charged, and if you can pull over or put in the location that you want to go in a moment. And that is the thing, is you are trusting other people when the trust could be in yourself. If I gave myself the space to say, oh, I want to go visit this place, and I'm just gonna go and do it, it would be so much easier than me just milling around and being like, oh, I don't know what I want to do or where. And it's been something that I've actually struggled with quite a bit, is I have these days where I'm just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do or what I should do, or I'm in this new state and there's so many things to explore, but it's so far, or it's rainy, or I don't know what the weather is gonna be like. And it's just all these excuses, and these excuses come up when you don't know where you want to go. If I don't put a location into the GPS isn't going to take me anywhere. The car's not going to drive me somewhere. And if I am around people who are just making these decisions, I can't be mad when I don't like the location or what we're doing or how long we're there. I didn't make the plans, so I can't be mad because I didn't make the choice, and therefore it's not up to me to make the next choice because I allowed somebody else to have that power. So instead of giving everybody else these choices, it has to start with, well, where is it that I want to go? And that might be the hardest question to ask yourself, because it is the question that the whole world has told you to stop asking of yourself, to say, no, don't ask why you're going to this place or what you're doing with your life or if you like this job. Don't do it. Why would you need to know that answer? But it's your life, isn't it? You need to be okay with what you're doing and why. And if you don't know, the whole world's going to tell you. The GPS will bring you down this road or that road, or it won't bring you anywhere because you don't know where you're going. That your friend might take you to this location or that location because you have no opinion and you're just there to enjoy the ride. And if you're there to enjoy the ride, you don't get to make the choice if the car's going left or right. So if you don't know where the destination is, somebody else will take advantage of that time and tell you how you should feel about it. And then what are you going to do? You're going to be like, wait, no, now I have an opinion, but you didn't make the decision to do any of this trip, so you don't get a say in what happens next because you opted out of that power. So take your power back, and that is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to cook more at home. I'm trying to get better at understanding why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, and to give myself the space and to remove the judgment as much as possible. When I go to the store, I have a better idea of what I want because I've spent the past 5 months trying to get to a place where I'm not constantly eating out. I am considering what it means to my body when I do certain things, and it is not an easy road. I still think that it might be easier to just go out, but because it is a further drive now where I live to get to those fast food places, it is a big deterrent. So again, but that's me handing my power away to somebody, and I could just say, you know what, we're gonna cook at home. Might not be the greatest meal I've ever had, but it's going to be cheaper in the long run and healthier regardless of what it is that I make, because it has less ingredients than anything that I could get at any fast food store. It's going to have less salt because I put less salt and oil. It's going to be healthier because I put in the work to make it happen. And then at the end of it, you feel accomplished as well because you're like, oh, I cooked for myself and now I did the dishes and now I'm ready for the next day because the dishwasher is on and now I'm going to bed and I'm going to read my book. So one good habit leads to the next. And where are your habits leading you and why is that? So that is just something that I try to keep going back to as much as possible. Why am I doing this? Where am I going? And what does it mean? And to this day, I still don't have the clearest vision of where I want to go, which is why I feel like I'm struggling right now, but it is something that I'm working on to try to get to that next point, because it's my life and another 15 years is going to pass by if I don't take hold of the reason why I want to do the things that I want to do. And I want to connect with you guys and the world and to say you have the ability to change your life and to make it better, and it is up to you. Now, if you're thinking, well, I would love to do that, but I just haven't yet. It's probably because it hasn't bothered you enough in order for you to fix it or to do something about it. And that I am specifically also referring to, there is a handle on my fridge to open it and it shakes quite a bit. And every time I use it, I'm like, I should do something about that. But I usually don't because it hasn't bothered me enough. And it's a pretty good way to understand how we get stuck in the places that we are. It just hasn't bothered you enough. It hasn't damaged you financially enough or emotionally or physically enough for you to say enough is enough. I'm getting up and I'm changing my behavior. I'm changing this right now. And that's usually the breaking point most people get to in order for them to fix something. But you don't have to get to that breaking point in order for you to realize, man, this is just not what I want anymore, because you've reached tiny breaking points, smaller breaking points, but breaking points nonetheless, because I'm sure just like I have in these past few months had to reach new levels of lows to realize I actually can't continue this behavior anymore. I can't consider why everyone else is making the choices that they're doing and trying to save them from it. This is my life and I have to be okay with the consequences of the choices I make. I have to be okay with whatever comes after this decision, and to say, all right, I don't know why I did this, but I'm going to have to deal with it no matter what it is. Whether that is continue to talk to somebody who has admitted that they're in a relationship, or talking to friends who have hurt you in the past. Where are you putting your energy and why? And there's probably micro cuts that are happening. And there is that famous quote, death by 1,000 cuts. And it is not that you die because somebody is having these insane slashes at you. It is tiny cuts, tiny acts against you, tiny little infractures that are hurting you. They're small. They happen quickly. They happen often. And yet you don't notice the buildup of emotion and torture around it until you take a step back and you're like, I have been eroded consistently over the years by this behavior. And it might not just be behavior from one person. It might be the behavior of many people who mimic very similar ones. And that is where I got to. I was considering everybody else's emotions, what they were going through, and what they weren't, and why they weren't texting me, and all of this stuff. And I was like, how is that helping you? How is it helping me move forward if I'm considering that person's emotions and that one over there, and considering all of these insane scenarios that may or may not come true? And if it does happen again, if I lose another friend, if I lose another job, if it does happen, at the end of the day, I'm going to have to deal with it then anyway. And why ruin right now in order for me to get to that point anyway? In 3 days, it could happen. And I can't do anything about it right now. There's not enough things that I could do to prevent the choices of other people. And why am I going to spend the one life that I have trying to do it? So you might not have gotten to that breaking point yet. You haven't been bothered enough to fix it. But you could just decide that it doesn't have to get to a level 100 in order for you to say, all right, I'm washing my hands of this and getting out. It could be at the level 30 that it probably is right now. Where are you constantly sending all of your energy? To who? Is it the person that texts you every 3 months and is like, hey, I miss you, but doesn't actually care how you're doing? Is it all of these friends who claim to care for you, but when the going gets tough, man, do they get going? Why are you continuing to give these people your energy and your thoughts? How are you going to take your time back and your life back and decide that I don't have to be bothered to level 1,000,000? This could be enough bother. Somebody constantly annoying you every time you're hanging out with them being weird towards you, that could be the turning point. That could be enough reason for you to say, enough is enough, I'm moving on, and this is no longer where I want to spend my time and where I want to be. You don't have to get to level 100. You could decide right now that I've done enough things and I've been bothered enough by all these people, and change right now. That's where I'm at. I have to decide, I'm gonna go for a walk, I'm gonna move my body, I'm gonna go to the lake or to the ocean and spend my time there. I'm gonna let go of the past because I can't change it anyway. And the past, I feel, has loosely has let go of me, and that I've loosened those connections to it. That's what time does. But it's also just the decision to say, I just don't want it anymore. I need to move on and I have to let it go. You can let it go. You can choose that the breakthrough and the breaking point is right now. It's up to you. And when you have this idea that you just can't, not because you haven't been bothered enough, but because you just don't have the time, you have to accept that you do have the time. Because we are doing stuff all day, every day. Either I am running around and writing the entire day, or doing groceries, or doing laundry, or doing something, or hanging out with new people, or going to this restaurant, or going to the pool. I am doing something with my time, and I've realized that I just keep handing it freely to everyone. And when I am handing it to myself, where I'm writing or reflecting, I feel like it's not enough. Like, that's a waste of the time. That I should instead be at a lake surrounded by people that I don't know and trying to make new friends, and that is where I should want to be, where I should be wanting to spend my time. But when we are constantly getting into this mind space of I should be doing this, I should be doing that, we are getting into the constant rhythm of somebody else has a better say over what you want in your life than what you do. That your opinion matters less than what everybody else thinks, because everybody else matters so much more. And the thing is, they will only matter if you're giving them your time and your power away. Your time and your attention are the only things that you have complete control of. Your mind, your time, your attention, who you spend your one life with is where you have your power and your control. You can't control how other people behave, what they think, what they do, what the company wants to do with you, what they don't, how much control they have over you isn't irrelevant. There is a control that other people have, but what are you doing to counter it? Your job may be providing you an income, but are there ways you are working on to try to get yourself out of being extremely and completely dependent on a person, a job, or anything else? What are you doing to ensure that you have the freedom to make the choices that you want, and so that you can have the time to do the things that you like? And if someday in the future you want to have all this freedom and all this time to do things, what is it that you want to do with that life? What is it that you want to do with that time? What are you working towards? And if you don't know what you're working towards, then you don't know where to spend your time. And it completely goes back to what we started at the beginning, was to say, where are you going and why? And if you don't, your time is going to be spent here and there and maybe there and I don't know, I just felt like it. And I completely get that. Over these past few months, I didn't really know where I wanted to go, so I was just, all right, I'll go here and I'll go to this city and I'll just go to their museum and see how it is. It was tiny and it was great, and there was a great exhibit, but was that what I wanted to do that day? I don't really know. I think I just needed to get out and on a drive because I was so used to driving for so many hours over the past year and a half that driving just makes me feel better, or at least gives me the space to do something because I'm not just constantly on my phone trying to do something else. So your time could be spent there. You might be on your phone all the time, and that is what people constantly say. You're giving your attention to these things in tiny spurts, and then it adds up over time. I turn around and it's 2:00 and I feel like I haven't done as much as I wanted to. So you have to spend time at a job, you have to spend time with family, you have to spend time somewhere, but you get to decide where it's going to be. Who is going to get the time of your life? Is it going to be you, or is it going to be every other person who suddenly feels entitled to the decisions that you make in your life? Why? Well, you've given them the space to. You've decided that, hey, this isn't enough of a breaking point, that I want to continue to be here. I have to take back my power, and I'm trying to do it as much as possible with cooking at home and going for walks and trying to not judge myself when I do make not the greatest decisions for that day and I spend a lot of it at home, and to not judge myself for that, and to realize that home is a place that I actually want to be at. And I remember when I was in high school, I never want to be at home. Even when I was in college, I didn't like the apartment I lived in because I had a terrible roommate. And now that I look at it, it's like, well, you do enjoy being home, and that's a great thing too, because that wasn't always true. So there might be reasons why you're doing certain things, and don't judge yourself off the bat and constantly. It's not helping you get to the next destination. It's just keeping you there. And if that place that you're at isn't where you want to be, you have to let go of the guilt and shame you've associated with where you're being, and understand why you're there and where you want to go. Where is it that you want life to take you? Is it with a partner? Is it with a specific job? Is it being a writer? Is it being an artist? What is it? And only you get to work on it, and you don't have to upend your entire life, break up with everyone, move to another state, though that is what I did. But you don't have to do that. You can start to incorporate little things into your life that show you that freedom and a place where you want to actually spend your time. If you want to be a writer, spend 5 minutes writing. Or if you want to be an artist, get all your art stuff out and draw for a little bit, or color, or whatever it is that you want to do. Give yourself little increments of that life that you want, because once you do get that life, once you do have more time to spend with the person that you love and going to the beach, you're still going to have worries, and you're still going to have to figure out where you want to spend your time and which destination you want to go to next. Because once you reach this vision, there's going to be another one. There's always another mountain to climb. There's always another problem that comes your way. So it's never going to suddenly go away. So this is just practice for you to become the best version of yourself, and you get to decide what it is that you want to do. You don't have to completely change your life right now, but the choices you make right now will give you a completely new life. So I hope this helps. I appreciate you being here and listening, and I know that whatever you're facing, You're not alone. And there's so many times this past year, past few years, past lifetime that I felt like I have been alone, but I know that there are people out there who want to connect to this idea that life is short and that we only get one. And even if we get more, why would we want to waste this life anyway? Thank you for being here. We will talk soon, and I hope you have an amazing week.